In an evasion situation, when the sound of a gunfire could reveal your position and endanger you, trapping or snaring wild game is preferred for procuring animals. To effectively trap or snare, you must be familiar with the species of animal you intend to catch. You must be able to construct an appropriate trap for the animal you want, and you must not alarm prey by leaving signs of your presence. There is no one trap that is right for all animals. You must determine what species are in a given area and set your traps with those animals in mind. To find out what animals are in an area and where they are, look for runs and trails, tracks, droppings, chewed or rubbed vegetation, nesting or roosting sites, and feeding and watering areas. Position traps and snares where there is evidence of animals. A trail shows signs of use by several species. A run is less distinct and will show signs of one species. In a hostile environment, trap and snare concealment are critical. It is equally important not to alarm the animals and cause them to avoid the trap. Prepare the parts of your trap away from the trap site. Freshly cut vegetation in the area of the trap will alarm the prey. Even the slightest human scent will cause animals to avoid the area. Coat your hands with mud before handling the trap. Fluid from gall and urine bladders of previous kills also masks scents. Do not use human urine. As always, security should be your first priority. Your trap should be well concealed. If you dig, take the dirt out of the area. Also, remember that trapped animals can make considerable noise that can reveal your location. When the trap is set in position, camouflage it as naturally as possible to prevent detection by the enemy and to avoid alarming the prey. Traps or snares placed on a trail or run should use channelization to lead the animals into the trap. To build a channel, construct a funnel-shaped barrier from surrounding natural material. Extend it from the sides of the trail toward the trap, with the narrowest part nearest the trap. As the animal nears the trap, it is unable to turn left or right and will generally not back up. For best results, channelization should reduce the width of the trail to just slightly wider than the targeted animal's body and should be as long as the animal's body. Baiting a trap increases the chances of catching an animal. A baited trap will draw animals to it. The bait should be something the animal is familiar with, but not so readily available that the animal can get it easily nearby. Peanut butter from S.E.R.Es is a good bait for small animals. Salt is another good bait. Scatter bits of the bait around the trap to give the prey a chance to sample it. The animal will overcome its caution in entering the trap. Traps and snares crush, choke, hang, or entangle the prey. Traps catch and hold, or catch and kill. Snares incorporate a noose to accomplish either function. The power to trap the animal comes from the struggling victim, the force of gravity, or a bent sapling's tension. The heart of any trap or snare is the trigger. When planning a trap or snare, ask yourself how it should affect the prey. What is the source of power? And what will be the most efficient trigger? A simple snare consists of a noose placed over a trail or den hole and attached to a firmly planted stake. The noose should be large enough to pass freely over the animal's head. Wire makes the best noose for a single snare. It is less likely than cordage to slip off the animal's neck. Use a drag noose on an animal run. To make a drag noose, place sticks on either side of the run and lay a sturdy cross member across them. Tie the noose to the cross member and hang it at a height that will pass over the animal's head. As the noose tightens around the animal's neck, the animal pulls the cross member from the forked sticks and drags it along. The surrounding vegetation catches the cross member and the animal becomes entangled. An effective snare is a twitch-up snare. A twitch-up is a supple sapling which, when bent and secured with a trigger, provides power to a variety of snares. A twitch-up snare is relatively easy to conceal. To make a twitch-up snare, find a hardwood sapling that bends and that will support the weight of the animal you want to trap. Bend the sapling to be sure it springs back to an upright position. Don't use soft wood such as pine. They won't spring back after being held down for several hours. Trim the branches from the tree, but don't leave freshly cut vegetation in the area. Mask the freshly cut scent of the tree. Dead but not rotting wood makes a good trigger for any snare. Don't use green wood for a trigger. The sap could cause it to stick together. Notch engaging surfaces on 2 pieces of wood to make the trigger. Set one piece of the trigger into the ground where the top of the tree will reach it. Make a slip knot in one end of the cordage that is long enough to make a noose. Attach the cord to the top half of the trigger with a secure knot. Make a noose from the slip knot. Prop the noose on small twigs so it hangs over the trail at head height for the animal you are trapping. The twitch-up snare should spring with only a slight tug against the noose. The twitch-up snare will hang the animal. Channelize the trail. The Ojibwa bird pole is a snare used by Native Americans for centuries. The best spot for the Ojibwa bird pole is a relatively open area, away from tall trees. For best results, place it near feeding areas or watering holes. Cut a main pole of non-resinous wood about 6 or 7 feet long. Sharpen the other end to a point. Drill a hole 1 to 3 inches from the top. Square off one side of the hole. Select a stick 4 to 6 inches long and shape it so that it almost fits into the hole. This is the perch. With the pole planted in the ground, pointed end up, tie a weight about equal to the weight of the targeted species to a piece of cordage. Pass the free end of the cordage through the hole and tie a slip noose that will cover the perch. Tie an overhand knot 1 inch behind the noose. Allow the cordage to slip through the hole until the overhand knot rests against the pole and the bottom of the perch. Spread the noose over the perch, making sure it drapes over both sides. When the bird lands, the perch will fall, releasing the overhand knot and allowing the weight to drop. The noose will tighten around the bird's feet. If the weight is too heavy, it will cut off the bird's feet and allow it to escape. A squirrel pole is an effective snare in an area with a lot of squirrel activity. Lean an 8 to 12-foot pole against a tree that squirrels use. Attach several wire nooses along the sides of a long pole so that a squirrel going up or down the pole will have to pass through 1 or more of them. Position the nooses about 1 inch off the pole. Put the top and bottom nooses about 18 inches from the top and bottom of the pole to prevent the squirrel from getting solid footing that would allow it to chew through the wire. Squirrels running up and down the pole will get caught in a noose, fall from the pole, and strangle. You can catch several squirrels on the same pole. Use a treadle snare against small game on a trail. Dig a shallow hole in the trail. Then drive the forked end of a stick into the ground on each side of the hole on the same side of the trail. Position 2 fairly straight horizontal sticks so their ends engage the forks. Tie one end of some cordage to a twitch-up or a weight suspended over a tree limb. Form a noose in the other end that will cover the entire hole and attach the trigger stick. Place the trigger stick against the horizontal sticks and route the cordage between the sticks. Adjust the bottom horizontal stick so that it barely holds the trigger. Place several sticks over the hole so one end is resting on the lower horizontal stick. Because the trap disturbs the trail, animals will be wary. camouflage and put the noose in place. Channelize the trail. As the animal places its foot on a stick across the hole, the bottom horizontal stick moves down, releasing the trigger and allowing the noose to catch the animal by the foot. A Paiute deadfall drops weight onto the prey and crushes it. Tie one end of a piece of cordage to the lower end of a diagonal stick. Tie the other end of the cordage to another stick about 2 inches long. This is the catch stick. Bring the cord halfway around the vertical stick with the catch stick at a 90-degree angle. Place the bait stick with one end against the drop weight or a peg driven into the ground and the other against the catch stick. When an animal disturbs the bait stick, it falls free, releasing the catch stick. As the diagonal stick flies up, the weight falls, crushing the prey. Be cautious when removing animals from a trap. A cornered animal will fight. Club or spear the animal to kill it before you try to remove it from the trap. A swift death is more humane and reduces your chances of a screaming animal revealing your position. Let's review the key points of food and food procurement in a survival situation. You need food to maintain strength and your will to live. You can survive up to a month without food. Don't panic if you can't eat every day, but don't let yourself become too weak. When evading the enemy, security is your top priority. Food procurement should be considered when the tactical situation warrants it, and when you need food to continue movement. Overcome aversion to unusual foods early. It could save your life. Almost anything that flies, crawls, swims, or walks can be eaten. For successful trapping of animals, know their habits. Food is important to survival. It gives you the nourishment you need to keep moving and to make good decisions. It strengthens your will to live, which is your most important ally.
Not bad, Sergeant.